Hello, history fans. Welcome back to 5-Point Historian. Today, if you break a small law, you might get a fine or a warning. But in the Middle Ages, the law was a very different story. Imagine being executed because of the color of your shirt or because a farm animal committed a crime. Medieval justice was often strange, scary, and totally unpredictable. Today, we are looking at 5 strange medieval laws that could get you executed. Get ready to see how dangerous life could be when the laws made no sense. Before we enter the medieval courtroom, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We release 5 fascinating history points every week, and you don't want to miss them. Now let's look at the law that put animals on trial. 1. Animal trials when pigs went to court. In the Middle Ages, people believed that everything on earth had to follow God's law. This included animals. If a cow, a dog, or even a swarm of insects caused trouble, they didn't just chase them away. They arrested them, put them in jail, and gave them a full legal trial. The legal process. The animal would have a lawyer. Witnesses would testify. The judge would listen to the evidence. If the animal was found guilty of a serious crime, like hurting a person, the sentence was often death by hanging in the town square. A real story, the execution of the Falaise pig, 1386. One of the most famous cases happened in Falaise, France. A pig attacked a small child. The pig was arrested and kept in a prison cell with human criminals. During the trial, the judge decided the pig was guilty of murder. But here is the strangest part. The pig was dressed in human clothes, a jacket and breeches, and taken to the town square. It was executed in front of a crowd of people to show everyone that crime does not pay, even if you are a pig. Why did they do this? They believed that by punishing the animal, they were restoring balance to the world. It sounds crazy to us today, but for a medieval person, a criminal pig was a serious threat to the social order. 2. Trial by ordeal, the luck of the scar. If someone accused you of a crime but there was no evidence, the judge wouldn't say not guilty. Instead, he would say, let God decide. This was called trial by ordeal. It was a law based on the idea that God would perform a miracle to save an innocent person. The most famous ordeal, the most common version, was trial by hot iron. The accused person had to pick up a red-hot iron bar and carry it while walking 9 feet. Their hand would be horribly burned. The legal rule: the priest would wrap the hand in bandages. After 3 days, they would return to the church and open the bandages. If the wound was healing cleanly, you were innocent. If the wound was infected or dirty, you were guilty. The punishment for being guilty after an ordeal was almost always execution. A real-life example: Queen Emma of Normandy. There is a famous story about Queen Emma, the mother of King Edward the Confessor. She was accused of a crime she did not commit. To prove her innocence, she had to walk over 9 red-hot plowshares, sharp metal blades, with her bare feet. According to the legend, she walked across them and felt nothing. Because she was not burned, the people believed God had protected her. But for most poor people, their hands simply got infected, and they were sent to the gallows because they didn't have clean bandages or medicine. 3. The royal fish law. Don't touch the whale. Imagine you are a poor fisherman in the year 1324. You are hungry and suddenly a dead whale washes up on the beach. You think, great, food for my whole village. But wait, if you touch that whale, you are a criminal. The law of King Edward II. King Edward II of England created a law that said all whales, sturgeons, and dolphins were royal fish. This meant they belonged to the king. Specifically, the head belonged to the king and the tail belonged to the queen. The real punishment: execution for theft. If a common person took even a small piece of meat from a royal fish, it was considered stealing from the king himself. In the Middle Ages, stealing from the king was high treason. The punishment for high treason was often to be hanged, drawn, and quartered, one of the most painful executions in history. The strange logic. The king claimed he needed the whale bones to make his crown, and the queen needed the tail for her dresses. Even today, this law technically exists in the United Kingdom. If a whale washes up on a beach in England, it still technically belongs to the king. Thankfully, they won't execute you for it today, but 700 years ago, it was a death sentence. It is hard to believe that a piece of fish could cost you your life. If you are finding these laws as crazy as I am, please like and subscribe to 5 Point Historian. Your support helps us find more incredible stories like these. Let's look at a law about what you wear. 4. Sumptuary Laws. Death by fashion. In the Middle Ages, your clothes were like your ID card. You could tell exactly how much money a person had just by looking at their sleeves. To keep the social classes separate, kings created sumptuary laws. These were laws that controlled what people could wear, what they could eat, and how much they could spend on a wedding. The fashion police. If you were a peasant, you were only allowed to wear cheap, rough wool in dark colors like brown or gray. If you were caught wearing purple silk or gold jewelry, you were breaking the law. The real story, the execution for a shirt. In the 14th century, a man in Italy was arrested because he was wearing a coat that was too expensive for his social rank. The government believed that if poor people looked like rich people, the whole world would fall into chaos. In some extreme cases, if a person repeatedly dressed as a nobleman to trick people, they could be accused of fraud and executed. The law even controlled the length of your shoes. There was a trend called poulain, shoes with very long, pointy toes. The king eventually passed a law saying that if your shoe toes were too long, you were mocking the church, which could lead to a heavy fine or worse. Imagine being killed because your shoes were 2 inches too long. 5. The skull's bridle, the silence of death. Our final law is perhaps the most cruel. It was specifically designed to control women. It was called the Law Against Common Scolds. A scold was a person, usually a woman, who argued too much in public, gossiped, or complained about the government. The punishment. If a woman was found guilty of being a scold, she was forced to wear a device called the scold's bridle. This was a heavy iron cage that went over the head. Inside the cage, there was a metal plate that went into the mouth and sat on the tongue. Some of these plates had spikes on them. If the woman tried to speak, the spikes would cut her tongue. The real horror. The public walk. The woman's husband would put a lead on the cage and lead her through the town like a dog. People would throw rocks and trash at her. While the bridle itself was a punishment, it often led to death. The heavy iron caused infections, and because the woman could not eat or drink while wearing it, many became very weak. If the scold refused to stop her behavior after the bridle was removed, she could be accused of witchcraft. And as we know, the punishment for witchcraft in the Middle Ages was often the stake. A famous record from a town in Scotland describes a woman who was bridled 3 times. The 3rd time, she suffered such a bad infection in her mouth that she could not swallow and died shortly after. It was a law designed to keep people silent using physical terror. The Middle Ages was a time when the law was not about fairness. It was about control. Whether it was a pig in a suit, a hot iron in your hand, or a purple shirt on your back, life was full of strange rules that could lead to your end. We should be very thankful that today we can wear what we want and our pets don't have to hire lawyers. Thank you for watching this look at the strangest laws in history. Which of these laws do you think was the most unfair? Would you rather fight a pig in court or carry a hot iron? Tell me in the comments. I love reading your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to 5 Point Historian. We have many more stories about the bizarre and incredible history of our world. See you in the next video.